So we're going to talk about today about a very interesting topic about dreams. And not only about dreams, but another concept that we know in our faith that is called mazal. You go to a bar mitzvah, you go to a wedding, you go to an event, right away you wish everybody mazal tov. Now the translation of the word mazal is luck, but it's not referring to the luck that you need in Atlantic City. So this is a completely different thing. Now mainly we're going to start with the topic about the dreams, which raises many questions by many people. Everybody has dreams at night. Some people, they have short dreams, long dreams, amazing dreams, nightmares, good dreams. And many people wonder what is the idea behind the dreams. Now, in order to understand that, this is not a half-an-hour class. This is more like a 5-week course. But we're going to try to kind of cover as much as possible about the topic of the dreams. Now, before we even start, we have to understand that this world, this physical world that we're in, is one of many worlds. This is not the only world that exists in the universe. This is actually the lowest and the most smallest of all worlds, and the physical world. All the rest of the worlds are spiritual. And before this world was created, there were many other worlds that were created. And as we speak, simultaneously, there are other dimensions, there are other worlds. Some will call it a dimension. The teachings of Kabbalah calls it a world. And we are not here. I know a lot of people are very interested to know if there's UFOs and aliens and all that stuff. And people and agencies and governments, they spend billions of dollars to find out if there's other life force on other planets. But nevertheless, the whole galaxy and the universe, all this physical world is not even a dot in the comparisons to the spiritual worlds. Now, a very quick synopsis of what's going on in the universe. Before the world was even created, there was just the Kadosh Baruch Hu, just Hashem. And He wanted to create a world in order so He can be a giver. If I'm a giver, but nobody's there to receive, then what kind of a giver am I? And more than that, the Kadosh Baruch Hu, He wanted to be a king. But how can I be a king if I don't have who to be king over? I can now declare and say, you know, I'm now a king. What? King of what? I'm king of this house, and I'm going to start now ruling this house, and whatever I'm going to say is going to happen. And well, who's the nation? Who are you king over? Well, the teddy bear. What are you king over? You need a nation to be a king over. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the master of the universe, wanted to be a king in order for him to give. So He created a universe, He created a world. And it's much more in depth, much more details into that. This is not the time to explain that, but we want to get an idea what's going on here in this universe. So when Hashem created the world, of course the spiritual world is something not tangible, something that our mind cannot understand. There's no shapes in the spiritual world, there's no colors, there's no dimensions, there's no distance. Spiritual world is something that is spiritual, that you can't touch it. You can maybe feel it, you know about its existence, but you can't see it or touch it. Now, as the world was created, it was created in a way that the higher the world is, meaning the closer it is to God, then the world is much more refined. The more it will manifest to a lower level, then the world will be much more physical. In the beginning, God was like so to say, a beam of light, and He shined His light into the universe. That's why in the terms of Kabbalah, we call God a light, Or Ein Sof, an infinite light. Now, it doesn't mean that God is a light bulb. Rather, He lights up the universe. Now, the way that it worked, that in the beginning, the Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world with a massive amount of light, but there wasn't enough powers to contain this light. The Kabbalistic term to it is called kelim, a vessel. If I want now to give you something to drink, if I don't have a cup, then where am I going to put the water in? I can have a lot of water. And now I'm interested in giving you this water. But if you don't have a cup, how am I going to give you the water? So I'm now the giver. First of all, has to be a receiver, and then has to be what I'm giving, and then how it's going to be received. And I can give you now a $5 million check. Not that I have $5 million, but hypothetically, I can give you a $5 million check. You know that if you don't have a bank account, you have nothing to do with this check. Hypothetically, I mean, you can find somebody on the street that will cash it for you. But nevertheless, the point is that anything in this world that you want to hold in any type of a way, has to have a vessel, some type of a container that can hold what I want to be given, or what I want to give. And God is a giver. His motion is only to give. So had to be a system how the merchandise, so to say, is received. In the beginning, the light was way too great, and what happened was that the vessels that were supposed to hold the light, they couldn't contain the light, and they broke. This is called, in the Kabbalistic term, Shvirat HaKelim, the breaking of the vessels. Later on, Hashem, so to say, recreated the world, but this time it was done in a much more sophisticated way. Hashem created a system. The system is called 10 Sfirot, Eser Sfirot, the 10 emanations that are known in the teachings of Kabbalah. And these are vessels that hold spiritual lights in order for the world to be created. You want to build a house, you need a foundation, you need material, you need the skeleton of the house, so to say, the frames and everything, and then slowly you start building another piece and another piece and another piece. And needless to say that you need the workers. So God took these 10 sfirot, these 10 vessels, He created them to be able to contain the light. Now that the light was contained, then it started to manifest from one world to another world to another world, from a spiritual world into a less spiritual world into a less spiritual world. The highest spiritual world that we are aware of is called the world of Adam Kadmon. The acronym of it was Ak. That's what the teachings of Kabbalah explains. Then comes another spiritual world that is more familiar. It's called the world of Atzilut, the world of emanation, where the light of Hashem is shining there. Then comes another spiritual world that is called the world of Bria, the world of creation. That's when everything started getting some type of a shape, some type of an existence, more than a shape. Then comes another spiritual world, it's called the world of Yetzirah, the world of formation, when things are starting to get a shape. And then comes the world of Asiyah, the world of action, and then this physical world. And this godly revelation is this light, the spiritual light, is manifesting in a descending chain from one world to another world to another world, till it creates this beautiful world. The reason why it's called world, of course the names in English are not accurate. We have to go by their names in Hebrew. The name in Hebrew for the word world is olam. Olam comes from the word in Hebrew he'elem. He'elem means a concealment. God is everywhere. There's not one space in this universe that God doesn't exist. Of course, we're all wondering, how does God look? Does He look like me? What does it look like? Is that a spirit, a cloud? What is it? And God doesn't have a shape. God doesn't have a size. He doesn't have any type of definition. But we do know that God exists everywhere. He's existing in the stable and existing in the walls, and there's not even one place in the universe that doesn't exist. Kind of like you take a balloon now, you blow air into the balloon, and now you have a big balloon. Now where's the air? In that corner or this corner? No, the entire balloon is full of air. And the proof is because you inflated the balloon. So the entire universe is existing because, so to say, God is dressed into that universe, and He inflated the universe with His existence. That's where we find all these verses in the Torah that Umlo chol haaretz kevodo, His presence is everywhere in the universe. Velet atar panui mineh, every place in the world that God exists. We just don't see it. If you would see God now, you would probably lose it. You would probably not going to be able to contain such a revelation. So God conceals Himself. And this is why it comes to the word in Hebrew, he'elem, that you just don't see it. You don't see Hashem and you don't see His creation. Now with that said, this is a very short introduction to a very deep concept. Then at some point, once the resort was made, now you have to bring the people. So the world was created, now you have to bring in souls. So it's in the beginning the souls were not created, but later on souls were created, they were emanated from Hashem, they were part of Hashem, and then there's a whole history how they evolved from a spiritual world to a less spiritual world and so forth. The structure of the universe is that this world is the lowest of all worlds, and there's many worlds above it. And we originate from a spiritual world. This is not the only world where we are. This world is just a short visit. We come here for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, sometimes 20 years, 30 years, and that's it, and you're gone. But the soul lives forever. The body is very temporary. The body is created in this world, then the person dies, they put the person in the ground, the body decomposes, the body dies, and the soul lives for eternity. We also know that the soul keeps on returning into this world. It's called a reincarnation, a gilgul. It will come back again, another round, another round. So we're not here for 67 years to eat sushi and watch movies and go on Facebook and pass our life and then leave. We come here with a purpose, we come here with a reason. That's not for nothing that we came here. Everybody has a purpose in this world. Every person has a journey in this world. And this is a whole concept to talk about in itself. Why are we here and what are we doing here? We had a beautiful lecture yesterday and the day before. What is the purpose of this world? Why did God create a world with 7 billion people, so many different people, so many things going on here, good things, bad things? What am I doing in this world? Why did God put me in this world? Specifically in this city, in this family, in this community. Sometimes people, they live their life, they're too busy running after money, so they don't notice what's going on around them. I'm not saying it in a negative way. They need money to support their family, to send the kids to school. I'm not saying it chas v'shalom in a negative way. But sometimes life becomes so busy and hectic, you don't even stop for a second to think, what am I doing here? What did I come to the world for? I came to the world for what to eat, to go on another vacation, to buy another car. If a person doesn't ask himself at least once a day, what am I doing here? Or am I doing what I'm supposed to do in this world? Then you're wasting your time. You're going to wake up one day when you're 90 years old and say, oh my gosh, I wasted my life. What did I live for? So that's a whole different topic. It's nothing to do with tonight. I just want to give a very broad overview so we can start understanding what happens to us at night when we dream. Why do we have dreams? Why dafka at night? And why don't we have dreams when we're awake? And what does a dream mean? And what happens at night? So the way it works, and again, very short version, is that our soul, the main part of the soul is sitting in the world above. And a little piece of the soul is sent into this world, like a space shuttle. You know, they just send a little ship over there. Or countries, they send a diplomat. They don't sell the whole country, they send a representative. He's going to be the diplomat. He's going to run the show from in the foreign land. Our soul comes down to this world because it came here with a certain purpose. It doesn't matter right now what the purpose is, but each and every one of us comes to this world with a certain task, with a certain mission, with a certain purpose, and the soul gets a whole instructions what to do. You don't know it, you don't remember it, because when we're born, the second that the baby is born, the devil stands outside of the mother's womb, hits the baby on his mouth, makes you forget the entire Torah. That's why we all have this mark here on our lip, because this angel of death, it stands out and it makes you forget the entire Torah. Why? Because you need to research, you need to find it, you need to explore. If everything would be obvious, then what's the point of the game, so to say? Now when we come down to this world, we come with a mission. So not the whole soul comes to this world, just a piece of the soul comes. Now the soul is built in 5 components. The highest level of the soul is called Yechidah. Yechidah comes from the word in Hebrew Yichud. Yichud means unity, it's connected to Hashem, it's a piece of Hashem. Then comes another level of the soul that called is Chaya. Some Kabbalistic teaching calls it Tzelem. Tzelem is a surrounding light, like an aura. I'm sure you saw in many different situations and classes that we have some type of a shining light around us, an aura, and it changes the tones based on our behavior, based on our thoughts and actions. But these 2 pieces of the soul, they're so holy, they don't even penetrate into this world. They're around the body. Then there's another 3 parts of the soul that are called Neshama, Ruach, and Nefesh. These are 3 levels. These pieces penetrate into the body. The Neshama, the main place of the Neshama where it dwells is in the brain, in the front part of the brain. The Ruach is in the heart, and the nefesh is all around our body and our blood. The Torah says that the nefesh, the most lowest spiritual level of our soul, is in the blood. That's why everywhere you're going to poke with a needle, blood will come out. Doesn't matter where. Your ear, your nose, your finger, there's always going to be blood coming out. That means that that's where the part of the nefesh. Famous story, when the world was created, I'm sure you remember Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava. They had two kids, Cain and Hevel. Cain got upset at Hevel for whatever reason, and he killed him. The Torah says that he stabbed him 300 times because he didn't know where the nefesh will come out from. He knew it's in the blood. He just didn't know where it's going to come out from. So he stabbed him all over, waiting to see where the nefesh is coming from. Take a human being, lo aleinu, he starts losing blood. There's a certain quota of blood that you can lose and you still stay alive. After a certain amount of blood left the body, there's not enough nefesh in the body, the person will die. And it doesn't matter right now if the bleeding is internal, external, it's not relative, it doesn't matter. Now, these three parts of the neshama, they work in conjunction. The easiest way to explain it, if I want to be a puppeteer, then I have one hand here, I put my hands in the puppets, and then I start moving the hands, and I start making a show with the puppets. Now, if I want to move the puppet's hand, then I need to move this finger. And I want to move this puppet's hand, then I move this finger. And I start moving my hand, and the puppet will start moving. So if I need to move this body is physical. Without a spiritual entity in the body is a piece of meat. It's bones, flesh, blood, that's it. If you take the soul out of the body is dead. It can't do anything. It can't move, it won't develop, it won't grow. It's a piece of meat. Once you get the soul into the body will be the puppet, and the soul can start moving the puppet. I'm sure you saw once in a construction site, they have these massive cranes, and you see a crane moving 50 tons of cement to a height of 80 floors, and there's a little man inside, moving the crane. There's a little man moving this massive crane. Or sometimes you see these huge machineries, tractors, trucks, and a little driver. The soul, the size of the soul, the teachings of Kabbalah explains that if you take a hair, cut the hair 1,000 times, now take another piece of the hair from those 1,000, cut that in 1,000 times, that's the size of the soul in your body. It's so small, it's like an atom. Now, the soul is the driver of the vehicle. Without the soul, the body can do anything. Now, the soul, when it's get dressed, when I'm saying soul, I'm talking about the level that is called neshama. The neshama gets dressed into the ruach, that gets dressed into the nefesh. These are the terms, the terms the Torah explains to us. In English, you would say soul will be a neshama, ruach will be the spirit, and nefesh will be like, I don't even know, there's not even really a word for it in English. But nevertheless, they get dressed inside each other, and one cannot operate without the other. It's a whole system. Now, when the neshama is in the body can move. If I want to move my hand, it's only because the neshama is interested in moving the hand. So it will give an order to the ruach, to the nefesh, then it will start working in the physical part of the brain, muscles, nerves, and so forth, and then I'm moving and I'm interacting. Why do I need this whole system? Because the soul has to come down to this world to do a certain act, a certain task, and it needs a vehicle. Now imagine you know of a ship that sank into the ocean 100 years ago, and on the ship there's diamonds and rubies and gold. They were looking for the Titanic for 100 years. Finally they found it. You know how they found it? It was 13 kilometers, I think, down in the ground. No, I don't remember the depth. Depth that was not even possible to even go into. But finally they were able to develop certain submarines to be able to go all the way down to where the Titanic fell, to bring it up. Why? They knew there's a lot of money on it. Not money in cash. Gold and jewelry, and this was like the Queen Elizabeth. All the trillionaires went from England to New York. It was like the ship, the cruise line. And they knew that there's a lot of goods on it. So it was worth investing so much money how to get down there, and they brought it up. The same analogy is in this world. When the world was created, and I told you that the light of Hashem exploded, so to say, in this world, millions of godly sparks fell into this world, like an explosion. These are called nitzotzot kedusha, holy sparks. Now they fell into the world of the darkness, this physical world. Now, when you have a problem, who do you call? The Ghostbusters, right? So only the old people understand what I'm saying. The young ones are like, what? So when you need to get something from behind the enemy lines, you bring the commando. You need to bring the Navy SEALs. Kadosh Baruch Hu hired us to come into this world behind enemy lines and start bringing all these godly sparks that got stuck in this world. And they got stuck in food, and they got stuck in so many different things. Everything that I come down to this world is to go like this, to start sifting between things, to find these godly sparks. Imagine now you go with a bag of diamonds on the beach. The bag of diamond falls on the sand of the beach. Such soft sand that within seconds it's in the sand. You stop everybody, nobody move, the diamonds are in the sand. Still you find those diamonds. Same thing here. Now, how do we know how to find the diamonds? God gave us a book. The book is called Torah. Torah comes from the word in Hebrew, hora'ah, to teach. And the book tells me, do not eat this animal. Why? There's no diamonds there. There's no godly sparks there. You have nothing to do there. If you touch it, it's going to damage you. Don't eat this animal. Eat that animal. Why? Because there's godly sparks that fell in that animal. And if you want to extract that godly spark out of it, then you have to slaughter it in a certain way. You will extract the godly spark out of it. How? Because you follow the rules that I tell you. You have to slaughter it, you have to say bracha, you have to eat it in a certain way, and so forth. The Torah comes and gives me a whole manual where to find everything, what to do, and how not to get damaged. If the Torah tells me don't do this act, it's not because it wants to make my life hard. It's to tell me you're going to cause yourself a problem. Now, when I come down into this world, I have to get some vacations. Can't be here for 80 years. You know how tiring it is for the neshama? So every night, the system is operating in a way that the body shuts down, and then the neshama goes out of the body. The soul leaves the body at night. Now, the reason why you get tired at night, in the evening, is not because you worked hard. Not because you carried things, not because you're up for 8 hours or 9 hours or 12 hours. It's only because the neshama is tired. Your neshama has, so to say, a spiritual battery. When your phone runs out of battery, either it will turn off or you plug it again. Every night our soul gets depleted from energy because it was working all day long. At night it needs to go up to the spiritual charger and be plugged in order to be charged. So at night you start becoming more tired and more tired and more tired. You blame it on the fact that you worked hard, and then you go to sleep, your soul leaves the body. You will be able to see what happens at night. There's no soul in the body when you fall asleep. That's why we have a prayer that we say before we go to sleep. It's called the bedtime Shema, that you surround the body with spiritual angels that guard the body, because when you leave the body at night, it's almost like leaving your house and you go on a vacation and you leave the door open. And then the robbers, they start driving around. Hey, look at that, this house is empty. Maybe we can go in, see what's going in there. So if you don't leave an alarm and a dog and close all the doors and windows, the robbers come in. Now imagine what happens if the robbers come in, they start taking things, and they're like, hey, why are we taking things? Let's just stay here. Let's just camp here. We'll make it our place. Then you come back from the vacation and they tell you, we're sorry, we took over the house. What do you mean you took over the house? We're sorry. You have a problem with that? Now in this world you call the police, but in the spiritual world, the soul leaves the body is left on the bed, empty. Demons, spirits, all sorts of spiritual entities, they come to the body and they come and take, so to say, some kedusha from the body, some holiness. Because during the day you do mitzvot, you're nice to other people, you're courteous, you do charity and chesed, so you're radiating from holiness. These spirits will come to start sucking this holiness away. So you need to park some guards around your body that the body will not be affected. Unfortunately, if you don't do that, when the soul comes back in the morning to the body, it finds some roommates here. That's where people get affected from different diseases, mainly mental and emotional diseases, fears and anxieties and being worried and all sorts of things. Why? But it's another entity in the body. Now when we go to sleep, there are 3 reasons why we go to sleep. There are more, but main 3 reasons. The first of all is to spiritually charge my soul, because my soul is completely depleted. So the soul goes up to the heavenly charger, gets plugged in, and then you wake up in the morning, like a new man or a woman. Now what happens if you wake up in the morning and you're still tired, and you slept for 8 hours, 9 hours, and you're still weak and tired? It means your soul didn't go up to the right place at night. It went to a completely different place. It didn't get a full charge. It only got a little bit of a charge. The second thing that the soul does when it goes up to the heavens, it has to write a journal. Like, how do you call it? Not a diary. A diary, right? At the end of the day, you write a diary. Okay, so the soul goes up to the heavens. They give her a piece of paper and starts writing. At 7 o'clock I woke up. At 7:10 I made breakfast. At 7:15 I did this and that. And it writes everything. Why? So after 120 years, when you come up to the heavens, and you go to your heavenly court, you're going to be judged for everything that you do. They show you your own paper. They say, you wrote it. You're witnessing, you're testifying against yourself. Another thing that the soul is doing at night, it's subpoenaed to testify in other souls' court cases. And if I stole from you, and you are now in the heavenly court, you subpoena me at night, and the soul comes and testifies. He stole from me, he helped me, he assisted me. So there's a whole system going on up at night. And another thing that happens at night is that the soul gets connected, so to say, to its spiritual source, and it sees what's going on in the world above. It gets all this information. And then, when it comes down in the morning, it remembers everything. It just went on a journey. Then it's time to come back into the body. When it comes back into the body, most people wake up from a dream. Very few people don't dream. Unless you are extremely exhausted or drunk or I don't know what, you're not going to dream. But everybody dreams. Now, sometimes the dreams are very, very powerful. Sometimes the dreams are so vivid you think this is the reality. Sometimes the dreams are insane. Weird things, and it switches, and you're here, and you're there, and you're there. And most people wake up and they don't know what they were dreaming about. More than that, sometimes the dreams are so powerful, they don't know what to take from that. What does the dream mean? I dreamt about this and that. You know how many messages I get a month? People tell me, I dreamt about a snake with 2 heads. What does it mean? It means something. Everything has a meaning. Now, a lot of the dreams have 0 meaning. There are 4 types of dreams. The first type is the dreams that you dream right when you fall asleep. I'm sure it happened to you once or twice or maybe 100 times that you fall asleep in front of the TV, you sleep for 3 seconds and you wake up, whoa, wow, it's such a dream. You slept for 2 seconds. What do you mean you had a dream? So that happens to everybody. The dreams that you have right when you fall asleep, these dreams are completely nothing. They're meaningless. They have no meaning behind it. What happens is that all day long you have a system in your mind. You have thoughts, you're seeing things. Everything that you see is being registered, recorded, like security cameras. And usually what you're looking at is complete junk. The junk what we're looking at all day long. When you fall asleep, all this data is still in the front part of the brain. So this information is running in your brain, but with no sequence. So all that you saw that day is also the junk that's still in your memory. So you see it, because you're still not 100% asleep. The soul still didn't really leave the body. So these dreams are completely nothing. They have no meaning. Then you have the dreams that come right after that, when it's in the beginning part of the sleep. These dreams are also completely meaningless. They have no meaning whatsoever. The teachings of Kabbalah explains that, unfortunately, a lot of people eat before they go to sleep. If you ask a nutritionist, or if you look in the doctors based on the Torah, like Maimonides, Rambam, and so forth, they all say don't eat before you go to sleep, because the food doesn't get digested. And if you go to sleep and the food is not digested, the fumes from the food, they go up to your brain, and then they take all the memories in your brain and they start mishmashing it. And then you get all these weird, weird dreams that have no meaning, they're just weird. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, not towards the end of the night, then you say, what weird dreams I had. And then nothing makes sense. So these 2 types of dreams, they're completely irrelevant. You can completely forget about them. And if you want to avoid them, then either don't eat before you go to sleep. Then it's nothing in the stomach. There's not going to be any fumes. Then you're going to sleep 10 times better, by the way. Or during the day, be very careful with what you're looking at. Because, one of the hardest things to do in this world, and one of the most common things that the great sages of our nation do, is that they guard their eyes. They don't look at things. The more you look at things, the more you harm your system. Every day we say Kriyat Shema. 3 times a day, minimum. And it says in Kriyat Shema, "V'lo tatoru achei levavchem," don't go after your heart, don't what your heart desires. "V'lo tatoru achei einechem," and don't go after your eyes. And it continues, it says, "Asher atem zonim acherem." After what you go after, you look at something and right away you want it. The way it works is that you look at something, your heart starts desiring it, then the brain starts working, how am I getting it? And usually what we look at all day long is not pure things, whether it's not pure videos, not pure pictures, not pure situations. And then it causes me to look at a person, instead of judge the person favorably, then I judge the person not nice. And I become very judgmental with my eyes. And I only see the bad in people. I can look now at any person and tell you all the bad things about people, what they do. That's what most people do. You would look at a person and says, he's a thief. You look at that person, he's a liar. That's because the eye is so damaged that you're not able to see the good things that the person does. Why can't you look at the person and says, wow, he's an amazing father, and he's such an honest businessman, and he's a great husband. So the tool of the eye is a very sophisticated tool that has to be completely guarded. Now comes the other 2 types of dreams, that these are the real dreams. Well, the first type is early in the morning, the dreams that you're already very into the sleep, and then the dreams that you right before you wake up. The dreams that right before you wake up, these are the most accurate dreams. Now when your soul goes up to the heavens at night and it does a whole review of what's going on, it has a lot of recollection, a lot of memories. It went to see what's going on there. Now, if the person is not refined, doesn't have a lot of Torah and mitzvot, lies, cheats, all these bad things, what happens is as the soul comes down, every world, every connection between the world stands an angel and slaps the soul, and the soul forgets everything. And it goes one world down, another world down, another world down. By the time it goes into the body, 99% of what it saw it forgets. Doesn't remember anything. The more the person will be refined means clean spiritually, of course, not taking a shower. Don't lie, don't cheat, no lashon hara, no slandering, and refining their attributes, no anger, no jealousy, really refining themselves, then everything that they see up there remains. This is not something that we can get to. These are very few people, and we call them prophets. And they're so high level, they remember everything that they see in the world above. That's why all the prophets, except Moshe Rabbeinu, they got the prophecy when they were sleeping. Moshe Rabbeinu was the only prophet that was up, awake, and seeing Hashem and talking to Hashem face to face. All the other prophets, they went to sleep, that's where they got their prophecy. Now, we all have a potential of a prophet. We have the capacity to reach to prophecy. Everybody. There are books that will teach you how to reach to prophecy. If you can follow the instructions, you'll be able to receive prophecy. I'm not saying it's easy. It's very hard. But you have the potential. Whether you want to do it, that's your decision. Now, when a person is very refined, a little bit refined, not refined, that will determine how much the capacity of the memory he's bringing back from the world above. Now, we are not in that level, so what happens? You remember 2%, you remember 4%, you remember 8%, but you come back into the body, the soul comes back in the body with a memory. And I saw something. Now, the dreams are always going to be prophetic. And if not going to be prophetic, they're going to be clarifying a situation. You know, there are so many stories that our rabbis, teachers, sages, they had a certain question in the Torah, they prayed about it, and when they went to sleep, the teacher, the rabbi who taught it, revealed himself and gave them the answer. And then they woke up in the morning, they had the answer. Just imagine that in the night you are a tourist, you're going without a passport and a bag, but you're leaving this world. That's why in Judaism there's a whole system how you go to sleep. You don't just fall on the bed. You have to clean yourself, clean your body, say prayers, prepare the bed. Why? You're going on a journey. First of all, you might not come back. Who says you're going to come back? You know how many people go to sleep and they never come back? A one-way ticket. But some people, they come back and they have a lot of information. Now, you're going to determine how much of the information you understand. Most people, they don't have all the information together. So the dream is very vivid, it's very real, and you feel that that you're living the dream, but the information don't make sense. You're having a puzzle, a 500-piece puzzle, but here a piece, here a piece, here a piece, and you can't put the connections together. Now there's different types of dreams that you get different messages. Sometimes you see a relative, sometimes you see a loved one. Just imagine that you're going to the world above and you're visiting the resort. So yes, sometimes there'll be situation that a lot of people report that they see relatives. Their parents come to them in their dream, a grandparent comes to them in the dream. Sometimes you see situations and scenes that allow you to understand things that's going on in your life. Now, what is the difference between the dreams that's a little bit in the early morning and the dreams that right before you wake up? Because the soul, the nefesh, the ruach and the neshama, they gradually start coming back into the body. I know many people, and I can say including myself, many people, they report that they have dreams that right before they wake up they feel that they're falling. And they're falling and falling and falling, falling and falling and falling, and then they wake up. That's mamash when you see the soul is falling into the body and then the person will wake up. The closer it is to the time you wake up, the more memory you have, the more you remember. Now, these dreams are real. The information is real, just that it's scrabbled in such a way that you can understand what it means. You remember certain things, you remember one word, or you'll remember a scene, or a message, or somebody giving you something, and that's what you remember from the dream. Or the person says a certain word, and it echoes in your mind. Oh, the person says that word, what does it mean? So we do know there are many different books that will tell you if you saw this, it means this. If you saw that, it means that. It's very confusing, very, very confusing. I know a lot of people, they dream of snakes, for example. Well, not too long ago, somebody emailed me and told me I saw a snake in a dream. What does it mean? I said, you know how many interpretations, how many meanings it means? If the snake, if you just saw him, it means one thing. If you saw many snakes, it means another thing. If the snake bit you, it means another thing. If he spat on you, it means another thing. If he bite you, it means a different thing. But there's different books that they explain. Now it's not good to go into it because most people don't really remember all the details of the dream. When I asked that person, what did the snake do? I don't remember. How did he look? I don't remember. Did he bite you? I don't remember. Did he spit on you? I don't remember. So what did you remember? So you saw a snake. So I can't help you. So it's not good to try to interpret dreams because you don't know if really that's the situation. There are very, very few people that know how to interpret dreams. Very, very few. The Gemara, the Talmud says that the interpretation of the dreams depends on who interprets it, because you can take one dream and interpret it in a negative way, and one dream and interpret it in a positive way. So it all depends how you interpret the dream. The suggestion is don't try to interpret dreams. And once in a blue moon, if you have a certain dream that repeats itself and repeats itself and repeats itself over and over, then maybe you want to seek some guidance. What does it mean? Or you want to maybe look a little bit. But usually the dream is here to guide you. The problem is that when we wake up in the morning, you come from the world above, but within minutes you are already in this world. Right away you wake up in the morning. 99% of people in this planet, you know what they do when they wake up in the morning? Right away they go like this to the phone, right away check the text messages. Like if somebody texted you at 3 o'clock in the morning, and this is the reality, everybody reaches to their phone in the morning. Who's going to text you at 4 o'clock in the morning? Why are you checking your WhatsApp? But that's the reality. And how I know it's true, that everybody's like, how does he know? Because everybody uses their phone as an alarm clock. Very few people, they don't check their phone within the first 30 minutes of the day. Everybody's already checking their emails, their stocks, their everything. What are you checking? Wake up and open your eyes first. So, within minutes that you are in this world, you're already sunk into this world. Because right away you check your messages, you wake up frantically because you're late to work or whatever it is. So right away you forget everything. If you have a dream and you remember it very, very vividly, when you wake up, don't move. Wait a minute, let it stay, because in a few minutes it's going to start evaporating in my memory. So there are different ways to remember the dream, but really if a person wants to receive something for dreams, it's only if a person really refines themselves. It starts with the person, the diet has to be perfect kosher. I'm not talking about not eating donuts. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you want to refine yourself, the kosher diet has to be perfect. No discounts. then the person can't have any type of inappropriate behavior. No cheating, no lying, no slandering, no lashon hara, no anything. Any impurity that you bring on the body is not a vessel to receive this information. That's why only prophets, they're in such a high level of kedusha, they're able to receive some prophecy, some clear information of what's going to happen. But just that you know that the dreams that right before you wake are prophetic dreams. I had numerous dreams that I saw something in the dream and it happened, one-on-one. Why? Because the dreams are literally a report. The soul goes up to the main headquarters and it sees everything. It sees all the information that it needs to know. Just because the spiritual level that we possess is not high, then as you go down into the worlds, one detail is missed, another detail is pushed, another detail is pushed. Before you get it, you get so little details you don't remember anything. Now this is a very general explanation about the dreams, but we also want to talk a little bit about mazal. What does it mean, mazal? Take all the information that we just talked about and go back to the structure of the soul that I explained. The highest level is called Yechidah. The Yechidah is attached to the master of the universe. I don't want to compare it, but just that we have some type of an analogy. A woman that gives birth, comes out a baby, and you know what comes out after that? A placenta. A huge organ. It's an organ that is attached to the woman's stomach from inside, and that's what feeding the soul, the baby for 9 months. It's an organ. I saw it the first time, I was completely shocked. It's a second baby coming out. The baby is whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 pounds, and then it's this huge piece that comes out. The placenta is, so to say, attached to the mother and is the system that is giving nourishment into the baby. So I don't want to compare it, but just that you have some type of an analogy, the Yechidah is attached to the master of the universe. It's receiving all this information and it's holding in it everything. Now, the Talmud explains that when the parents conceive a child, then before there's anything, they're just in the act. There's a certain angel that comes and takes the drop. Takes the drop, goes all the way up to the master of the universe and tells God, this drop, what's going to happen with this? It's not even a human. There's nothing there. It's just a drop. And what's going to happen with this drop? Is he going to be a man? Is it going to be a woman? Is it going to be tall, short, rich, wealthy, successful, a hero, weak, sick, skinny, blonde? What's going to happen? Everything is already written down. That's where we get the famous quote, Hakol bidei shamayim. Everything is in the hands of heavens. Everything is already predestined. Every little thing. Till the last detail of what color your hair will be, what pigment your eyes will be, how much money you're going to have, when you're going to make the money, when you're going to get married, how many kids. Every little detail is already predestined. Besides one thing. Hakol bidei shamayim. Everything is in the hands of Hashem. Chutz mi'irat shamayim. Besides your level of God-fearing. This depends on you. This is free choice. You choose how much you'll be God-fearing, how much are you not. Now, when the person is born into this world, everything is already predestined. In this, so to say, data is all the information that is going to happen to you in this world. And with that, you're getting a certain system. Because you come down to this world, Hashem didn't create you to open a profile on Facebook. Hashem didn't create you to become another individual in the list of Social Security. Hashem created you with a specific mission. Doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, you're smart, you're not, you're rich, you're poor, doesn't matter, Jew, non-Jew, everybody comes down to this world with a whole mission. Your part of the mission is to find out what is this mission. Now, since I have here a mission, I also have to have tools how to produce this mission. If I hire now a worker, and I want to build a house, the worker comes and says, yeah, I'm a carpenter, I'll build whatever you want, but you have to give me tools. Give me a hammer, give me a saw, give me screwdrivers, give me nails, give me everything. Kadosh Baruch Hu gives me a task in this world and right away He gives me tools, how to do it. These tools are called in our language mazal. Mazal is not luck that you're throwing the dice in Las Vegas. Mazal is the spiritual tools that allow you to fulfill your mission in this world. Anything that you need. If I don't have the right tools, how can the boss demand from me to do anything in this world? God demands from me to do this task. Here's your tools. Don't tell me you don't have anything. Here's the tools. The mazal is brought down to me as I grow spiritually and emotionally. Imagine now a little kid gets an inheritance. He's 4 years old now. Can a 4-year-old handle the money? No, the money is put in a trust fund. And every year he gets a certain amount. And then he goes to college, he gets another amount. Then he wants to buy a house, he gets another amount. He doesn't get the whole money in one shot. He's not going to know what to do with it. Besides the fact that he might lose it, or Chas v'Shalom, Hashem knows what he's going to do with it. Same thing here. Hashem gives me a certain quantity of tools, but He's not going to give it to me in one shot. Slowly, slowly, He gives it to me. Now, why is it called mazal? Because in Hebrew, the word that is equivalent, where the word comes from, is called nazil. Nazil is something liquid, something that is very, very easy to bring from one place to the other. In Hebrew, when you have a leak, it's called nezilah, and the water is leaking from above. So the mazal is trickling from above, slowly, slowly, every day, every moment, every hour, you get a little piece of it. And that's the tool that allows you to deal in this world. If you have to battle a certain situation, it gives you bravery, gives you strength, gives you hope. If you need to do a certain task in this world, it will give you the wisdom, the knowledge how to do it. Now, why do we wish people mazal tov? Because sometimes, imagine now into this house, there are different pipes. One pipe is coming from there to bring water into the house. If you're not going to have a pipe of water, how are you going to have water in the house? Now in the house it's already splitting to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the shower, but there's a main pipe coming into the house. There's another pipe coming from there, it brings electricity. Once it hits the house, it will start going into all the rooms, but there's a main pipe of electricity coming into the house. Then you have another pipe, gas. Then you have another one, you have cable, then you have phone, and imagine how many pipes are coming into this house. Now imagine now somebody comes, one of your neighbors, and says, let me take this pipe, I'm going to cut it now, and I'm going to direct this pipe into my house. Now, you don't have water, you're paying the bill. You don't have water, the water is now going to the neighbor. And then another neighbor is taking your electricity, and you're paying the bills, but you're going to getting nothing. When I have these pipes, I call it pipes. In Hebrew it's called tzinorot shefa. Pipes of channels of abundance, where I get all this shefa, this energy, this abundance. If I now do a certain mitzvah, mitzvah comes from the word hamshacha, that I bring onto me this shefa, this abundance. Then I'm connecting myself to this pipe. Now if I now do an avera is a sin, I cut one of them. Now I have a problem, the electricity is going that way, or the water is going this way. Now what happens is, sometimes I do certain acts and I make a clog. Like you have a clog in your pipes, the water is not coming in, or the stream is very, very low. Now it's stopping the mazal from coming down. We are the only ones that stop our own shefa. Hashem is giving me with no conditions. If you would see what Hashem gives you, you would be shocked. How much happiness, health, money, everything. We are the ones who are cutting the connection. The Zohar explains that between me and God, there's a certain tzino, certain pipe. And this pipe is built from 620 little strings, corresponding to 620 mitzvot. There are 613 mitzvot from the Torah. Remember I told you when we started at 613? It's not some number. There's 613 mitzvot in the Torah, and another 7 mitzvot from our sages, totaling at 620 mitzvot. The Zohar calls it 620 pillars of light. Why pillars? Because if I have a floor and I have a ceiling, what holds the ceiling? The pillars. You have to have pillars that are holding the ceiling. You move the pillars, the whole ceiling falls down. So these mitzvot are the pillars that are connecting the world above to the world below. Now if I do all the mitzvot and I refrain from doing all the averot, I have 620 channels where I'm getting shefa. Shefa means an abundance. One is the electricity, will be my happiness. One is the gas, will be my sustenance, my parnasah. One is the cables, will be my health. One is the water, will be my common sense, whatever it is. If I start cutting them, then I'm cutting these tzinorot shefa, these channels of abundance. Now, the more that I will cut it, the less of the mazal is coming into me. That's why we wish people have mazal tov. You go on a journey, mazal tov. You have a baby, mazal tov. The mazal should be good. Because you know what? Sometimes the mazal can turn to not so good. So why is mazal is connected to a dream? Because when you go up and you see everything, you can see your mazal. You can see what's going on, and it will come to you as information in a dream. And sometimes people, they're about to go into a business deal, they have a dream. Don't do business with this guy. He's going to rip you off. You wake up in the morning, I'm not doing the deal. Why would happen? I had a dream. A dream? This is a $5 million deal. A dream? Not doing the deal. Why? The person went up to Shamayim, the mazal was shining. The person says, I don't want to deal with this person. Now, not everybody sees it, but some people, they wake up in the morning, the dream is like so vivid, they're like, I don't want to do this thing. I don't want to go on this journey. I don't want to marry that person. Why? Because the neshama saw in the world above something that they came down here with this message. Regardless to the dreams, you constantly want to make sure that the connection of your soul to the world above is clear, that the mazal can drip into the world in the right quantity. If you go now into a hospital, lo aleinu velo alechem, you see a person sitting in the hospital with the IV and right away connected to the hand. The quantity of what's going on in the IV is perfectly calculated. You give a little bit too much, it's going to damage. You give a little bit too less, it's also going to damage. It's the quantity, the time, everything is calculated exactly. Same thing with your mazal. You can't get everything in one shot. It comes in the right increments. You just have to be careful and cautious not to create any barriers that will stop this shefa, this abundance from coming down. And Hashem is the one who decides how much you're going to get. If you think you have any control how much money you're going to make, you have a big mistake. You have zero control how much money you make. You have zero control on anything in this world. The only control that you have is how God-fearing you are. How much you fear Hashem. Fear doesn't mean that you're afraid that He's going to beat you up. Fear, it means that, if a king would walk now into this room, most likely everybody will stand up just from their respect. Why? It's a king. This is called God-fearing, that I awe Hashem, I respect Hashem, I see His greatness. Most people, they don't see the greatness of Hashem. If you would see the greatness of Hashem, you would not cheat, you would not lie, you would not say lashon hara, you would stand like this, scared not to move even. But we don't see Hashem. So the point to take from all this, because there's so much more information to talk about, what we talked about now is not even scraping the surface even, is to first of all understand that we're not here just to play games. We didn't come to this world to pass another day, and another day, and another day, and to plan my next vacation, and to buy another car. All these things are nice. I'm not telling you not to. You have to live your life. You want to live comfortable. You want to enjoy yourself. But that's not the purpose of life. Even when you do certain things, you have to say, what am I doing here? Even if I go on vacation, must be some type of a purpose so I can elevate something there. So the point is to take two things. We'll start from the second and not the first. The first thing that we want to take, which regards to the mazal, you want to know sometimes that you can empower the mazal. Sometimes the mazal is not going so well, for whatever reason, there are ways to change it. It says in the Talmud that if a person has a certain problem with mazal, there are 4 things that they need to do. One of them is to give tzedakah, to give charity. This is one of the most powerful things to change the decree. The second thing is called tze'akah. Tze'akah means to scream. Scream means to pray. You have to pray. The third one is changing your name. Shinui Hashem. And the fourth one is Shinui Maasim, changing of your actions. If you run into a situation that you feel, my mazal is stuck, can't get married, can't have a child, no parnasa, I have bad luck in this home, not this home, shep rak bracha in this home, but I have bad luck somewhere. So you feel that something's stuck there, either you give, or you can do all 4 together, but either tzedakah, praying, changing the name, changing your actions. So charity is easy. And charity is not only writing a check. Charity can be with your time, can be with your emotions, with your car, with your building, whatever it is. You can do many charitable acts. You don't have to only write a check. Tefillah, that's an easy thing. You pray. Either you pray from a siddur, either you pray from the heart. A lot of people think that they have to pray only from the siddur. Hashem says, I want you to pray from the siddur, because you know why? The siddur specifically, the siddurs are a code to a safe. That's why it's repetitive. That's why we say every day the same text. When I became observant, I was like, couldn't they make like every day a different text? Every day the same text. Every day I like have stories every day, so it's just a different story. But the text in the Siddur is code. Every day is a different code. You open up a safe. But Hashem also says, pray from your heart. Talk to Hashem. Hashem, help me. I need help here. I need guidance here. So we have to pray a lot to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. The third one is Shinui Hashem, is that you change your name. We actually had yesterday, the day before and the day before that, beautiful lectures about the power and the secrets of the name. This is not something that you jump to do so fast, but when a person is very, very sick, has a tragedy, chas v'shalom, then a lot of people, what they do is they change a name. They add a letter, they add another name, and it changes the mazal. Suddenly the person has a completely different mazal. And needless to say is the shinui ma'asim, the changing of the actions. So if I see that a problem happening, my mazal is stuck, change your actions. Maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe you're doing something that is blocking this mazal from coming in. The connection to dreams is the second thing that you want to take, is that the dream will allow you to get this information. Now it doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to become Eliyahu Navi, but you can a little bit refine yourself. Your kosher diet, make sure that your diet is more kosher, and much less sins. You'll see that the dreams will come a little bit vivid. First thing in the morning, don't just right away reach to the phone. Wash your hands. We'll put a pocket next to the bed. Wash your hands. Right away say the morning prayers. Keep some kedusha in the brain. Maybe you'll remember something of the dream. Sometimes the message will be so clear. I know so many people that the dream was so clear and they're like, that's it. It's obvious. Now you're afraid to tell it to people because you're going to say, oh, people are going to think I'm crazy. So don't tell it to anybody. You believe it, you saw it, you experienced it, just do what you need to do. You understand it. So if you want to get a little bit more information about the dreams, then you need to refine yourself. And the last and most important thing to remember is that we're 3.5 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. And you saw now the rabbi here blew the shofar. This is such a powerful month. The month of Elul is the month where one can do tshuva. You blow the shofar to wake yourself up. Wait a minute, how am I doing? In 3.5 weeks, I'm standing in front of the Master of the universe. He's going to judge me. I don't know where I'm holding right now. I don't know what's my situation. Rosh Hashanah is decided what's going to be the whole mazal for the next year. How much money I'm going to make, who I'm going to marry, I'm going to have kids, where I'm going to live. Everything is decided. You look at the text that we pray in Rosh Hashanah. Who's going to be rich? Who's going to be poor? Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Everything decided on one day. So this is the time to prepare myself. So you want to take all this information, like I told you, this is in Hebrew we say k'tzeh hamazleg, on the tip of the fork, this information. But if you want to learn more, I have, Baruch Hashem, hundreds of videos online. You can find them on YouTube, on my website, hundreds and hundreds of videos of all different types of topics. And Baruch Hashem, you can learn a lot about it. But I like when I come to teach and to give a class, is not just to teach you something nice, is you have to know how to apply something practically. And practically saying, when you walk out of this door, you want to take something with you, not just to eat the beautiful food and the company. Is to say, okay, what am I taking it to so I can apply it to my life? If I learn something and I don't apply it in my life, then why did you come here? What, to eat good food? No, you came here because God brought you here. You know how many people wanted to come today and couldn't make it? They couldn't get off work, they couldn't find a babysitter, so obviously Hashem wanted you to be here. So obviously He wants you to take some of the words, internalize and say, okay, what am I applying in my life that I can change something that maybe my mazal will be a little bit better. Maybe I can connect myself a little bit more to my essence, to my neshama. It doesn't mean that tomorrow you have to become Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, but you need to understand that I need to refine something in myself. Maybe be a little bit less judgmental from now on. Maybe I'll control my anger. Maybe I'll stop gossiping all day long, lying, cheating, more honest in business. I'll treat my wife a little bit better. I'll take care of my kids, give more charity, go and pray, whatever it is. The list is long from here to tomorrow. It doesn't mean other people, when you tell them, come closer to God. No, I'm going to become fanatic like you. I have a friend that it took me half a year to convince him to put tefillin on. I told him, just put tefillin on in the morning. 10 minutes, what's the big deal? Finally, I convinced him. He bought tefillin every day, puts tefillin on. So in the beginning, I used to call him. Did you put tefillin on? Yeah. One time I called him. I told him, no, did you put tefillin on today? He told me no. I told him, why not? He's like, I don't want to become fanatic like you. I don't want to become fanatic like you. I told him, I'm not fanatic. So he says, yeah, you put tefillin on every day. You're fanatic. I said, no, but that's how you do it. It's almost like saying, I don't want to eat every day. I don't want to become fanatic. Okay, so on Mondays, don't eat. Let's see you go there. So I told him, what is that? That's how you do the mitzvah. You put it every day from Sunday to Friday. If you're going to do it every day for the rest of your life, it doesn't mean you're fanatic. It means you're doing the mitzvah the right way. So a lot of people, you tell them, come a little bit closer to Hashem. No, now I'm going to have to dress in a black suit and you're going to take me to the shul. I'm not taking you anywhere. I'm teaching you how to better your life a little bit. So you want to choose in you what you can make yourself a much better person. Needless to say, I would offer the whole package. So, but everyone does their own analysis, their own cheshbon nefesh. Where can I get better? Maybe I'll go once a week to a Torah, to Shiur Torah. Maybe once a week I'll go to the Beit Knesset. Maybe every day. Maybe with tefillin on every day. I'll give charity every day. Whatever it is, the list is from here to tomorrow. You choose. And the reason why you want to choose, A, because it's the right thing to do. B, you are affecting your mazal. Everybody needs more mazal. Everybody wants more parnasa. Everybody wants to have better health. Everybody wants to see the kids getting married. Everybody has problems. You're not the only one who has problems, by the way. Everybody, 7 billion people on the planet, everybody has problems. And if you think you have problems, you don't have problems. I see people with real problems. So, but everybody wants a little bit of a better situation. So Hashem says, no problem, just step it up a little bit. I'm not telling you now to become a Baba Sali, but make it a few steps. Your life will get better. Your mazal will get better. I want to take the opportunity, again, we want to dedicate the class to the health, the immediate health and the miraculous recovery of Miriam bat Rachel, and also of Joseph Chai ben Rachel, and anybody else that needs refuah should have refuah shlema, and immediate recovery, a miraculous recovery. Anybody who needs to get married should get married. Anybody who needs to have kids should have kids, and the kids should be God-fearing and loving and with a lot of good midot, should have parnasa and ashirut, and everything that your heart desires. Hashem should elevate you to a spiritual place where you can reach to the highest spiritual point of your life, that you can mamash serve Hashem bechesed v'rachamim, and you should all merit to see the coming of Mashiach with your own eyes, and you should all have gmar chatima tova and shana tova. And thank you all for coming, and thank you for opening your house and inviting everybody. Hashem should bless you b'sheva shel bracha v'atzlacha. Thank you so much.